Hello and welcome to another episode of Are Ghosts Real? And thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Kareen and I really hope that you enjoy this one. This is the second legend from St. Michael's Mount in Cornwall that I went to recently. And this is the legend of giants and a boy named Jack, who also then was called Jack the Giant Slayer. So sit tight, get some popcorn in or get some nice food and a nice drink and settle down and let's begin this legend. So this is a Cornish fairy tale, and this is based around King Arthur's reign, and this is when giants were prominent in not only Cornish folklore but also Britain mythology and also Welsh lore as well. And this is the story of Cormoran, I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly, who is the giant associated with St. Michael's Mount. In the folklore of Cornwall, local tradition credits him with actually creating the island. In some versions, he is aided by his wife, Cormelian, and he uses it as a base to raid cattle from the mainland communities. And this is where Jack comes in. Jack was a farmer's son, and he was not only strong but also really clever as well, and had a very good wit to him. So he actually encountered the livestock being eaten by the giant. In Cornish, by the way, Cormoran means the giant of the sea. It is said that Cormelian was a ferocious, gruesome beast, and he terrorized the land all around him. He stole the cattle when his tummy began to rumble. Only Jack, who was a young lad from Marazion, which is the town that peers back from the mount from the mainland, so we went to Marazion. He was the only one who was brave enough to rid the town of its curse. It's said that one moonlit night, he made his way across the cobbled causeway and laid a trap out for the giant. And then he lured the monster out with one blast of his horn. And so he lures the giant to his death in a pit trap. Jack then is dubbed Jack the Giant Killer for his feat and receives not only the giant's wealth, a sword and belt to commemorate the event. A man-eating giant named Blunderbore vows vengeance for Cormoran's death, and he carries Jack off to an enchanted castle. Jack manages to also slay that giant too, and his brother Rebex, by hanging and stabbing them both. He frees 3 ladies that are held captive in this giant's castle. On a trip into Wales, Jack tricks a 2-headed Welsh giant into slashing his own belly open. King Arthur's son now enters the story, and Jack becomes his servant. They spend the night with a 3-headed giant and rob him in the morning. In gratitude for having spared his castle, the 3-headed giant gives Jack a magic sword, which is capable of knowledge, and also a cloak of invisibility, as well as shoes, which gained him new swiftness. On the road, Jack and the prince meet an enchanted lady who served the devil, Lucifer. Jack manages to break the spell with his magic accessories and beheads Lucifer, and the lady ends up marrying the prince. So Jack then is rewarded for a membership of the Round Table. Jack ventures forth alone with his magic shoes, cloak and sword, and he then ends up getting rid of all the troublesome giants in the realm. He encounters giants terrorizing knights and ladies, and he cuts off their legs and then puts them to death. He discovers giants in caves, and with his invisible cloak he cuts off the giant's nose and slays him, plunging his sword into the monster's back. He frees the giant's captives and returns to the house of the knights and ladies that he rescued earlier. A banquet is prepared, but it is interrupted by a two-headed giant called Thrundle. And he is the one that chants fee, fi, fo, fum, which of course is a very famous incantation of a giant, which is also featured in many literary things, including Shakespeare has said it, and then also other fairy tales as well. So Jack defeats and beheads the giant with a trick involving the house's moat and drawbridge. Growing weary of the festivities, Jack sallies forth for more adventures and meets an elderly man who directs him to an enchanted castle belonging to a giant called Galantus or Galantua. There's another version of the story by Joseph Jacobs, and in this version he's called Galantua. But the giant holds captive many knights and ladies and a duke's daughter who has been transformed into a white doe through the power of the sorcerer. Jack beheads the giant, the sorcerer flees, and the duke's daughter is restored to her true form. And all the captives are then freed. At the court of King Arthur, Jack decides that he would like to marry the duke's daughter and asks for her hand. She says yes, and then the two live happily ever after, and Jack hangs up his mantle after killing all of the giants, and everyone lives happily ever after. And that's the end. It is said that the history of Jack the Giant is the earliest known published edition of this story, which was published in Newcastle by a J. White in 1711. However, this has been a story that has been told from the 18th century and before then as well. So it's a common folklore, which has been going for a very, very long time. So this is the end of the second legend from St. Michael's Mount. I really hope that you enjoyed this one. I have to say, I loved it. Let me know in the comments which one so far is your favourite. Is it the Archangel Michael, who came to save the sailors, or is it Jack, the giant slayer, who had a lovely ending, who got married and lived happily ever after like a true fairy tale? And also got to meet Arthur, King Arthur, and became a knight of the Round Table, allegedly, anyway. So this one is, I think, a fantastic one. So let me know in the comments below which is your favourite of the two so far, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time for the next one. And also a little bit of an ending to the story is that it is said that in the castle on St. Michael's Mount, we didn't get a chance to go into the castle because it was closed, unfortunately. But in the castle, is the giant's heart, and it is a stone which looks like a heart, and that is supposedly Cornelian's heart that Jack ripped out, and it now is in the castle that you can now go and visit. So if you're ever in the area and you fancy seeing a giant's heart, then go to St. Michael's Mount and the castle and you'll be able to see one. Alright then, have a fantastic week everyone, look after yourselves, and I shall see you guys soon for another episode of Are Ghosts Real?